What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, a new camera angle today. If you guys like it, I'll keep it that way. If you got a correct score prediction, your comment will be included on the screen right now. We had a lot of games to predict due to the Carabao Cup. A couple of you have got a correct score, so well done to you on that. And this is what the Lexus Hall of Fame looks like now going into match day 3. I've got 8 points and got a 4-point lead, but there's a 3-way tie on second place with 4 correct scores. And to be honest, a 4-point gap's not unreachable, so I can see you guys really challenging me here. And James Robertson, you've got your first point on the board, which is also great for you as well. We've got the first M1 derby, Watford and Luton, in over 15 years. And we've got some really important games coming up for some certain clubs that need some points right now. But if you guys like want to see more championship content and more football content, please make sure you do give this video a like. It's tremendously appreciated. Later on, I will predict the Premier League predictions as well, and I'll show you what's going on with the Fantasy Premier League as well. And if you guys want me to try and continue this, please subscribe to the channel. It would really make my day. We're on 283 subscribers as of recording right now. We've got 7 days until we get October. Could you potentially get 17 subscribers in 7 days and push me to 300 before October? I think it's possible with the support. If all of you watching can share this, I think we can definitely make that happen. And please share the video to as many people as you can. All of that would really make my day. But without any further ado, before I waffle on, let's predict this weekend's games. So we'll start off with tonight's game, Huddersfield versus Nottingham Forest. Two sides that are desperate need of points right now. Both of these sides having 2 defeats in a row and both having a -4 goal differential as well, which is not great for Lucas. They both also had an early exit in the Carabao Cup, not having a win in all competitions so far this year. So both these sides are very low on confidence. Huddersfield will look very poor against Brentford. Whilst they did compete and Brentford were really poor in the first half, they just did not take any of their chances. And that's with Nottingham Forest. First half, they were shambolic against Cardiff. Second half, to be fair, they did improve, but they just never looked like scoring. They were a bit passive, they were slow in the build-up, and Cardiff really just ate them for breakfast. You know, they camped their box, and Nottingham Forest could not breach past them. In my opinion, the two managers, Carlos Corberán and Xabi Lamucci, are my 2 favourites to get sacked. And I think if any of them lose this game, they could really put themselves in a precarious position right now. As a prediction, I mean, I think Huddersfield's score's just really low in quality at the moment, and they just don't look like scoring. I think with Nottingham Forest, they have the better quality of players to seal the game. I'm going to say a 1-0 away victory to Nottingham Forest, but Huddersfield are capable of an upset. But before we move on to the next prediction, let's see what FIFA 20 thinks will happen in this game.
Welcome to the first game of game week 3. We start off with Friday's game, Huddersfield versus Nottingham Forest. Here's Danny Simpson now, who's just tackled Amiobi. He's driving forward. Oh, a cross. Grant, it's a goal! Huddersfield have got the breakthrough. It's Carlin Grant, a player who I don't think will be a Huddersfield player much longer, has scored the goal for Huddersfield. 1-0 to Huddersfield Town. Here's Amiobi, back to Semedo. Back to Shoutout Amiobi. Nuno da Costa, off the post. Wow, out of nothing, Forest nearly equalise. Pretty bad game overall, and it looks like the full-time whistle is going to go after this attack ends. Joe Lolly now on the ball. Passes it back to Matty Cash, to Ben Watson. Can Forest get something to Carvalho? Oh, he's still got it though. Ben Watson, can I get something? Carvalho! Great save by Lossell. Oh, Forest nearly snatch a point at the death, but it looks like the full-time whistle has gone. According to FIFA 20, this game will finish Huddersfield 1, Nottingham Forest 0.
So FIFA 20 has predicted the exact opposite of me and has predicted a 1-0 victory to Huddersfield. Could easily happen. It's definitely a coin flip, this game. So the second game to go through is the return of the M1 derby, Watford versus Luton, a very fierce derby. And as I said previously in my intro, the M1 derby has not been set in over 15 years. So I'm really excited to see this derby enter again. Watford look okay as a defensive unit, but going forward, I think they look a little bit laboured. As with Luton, they look very good going forward, but defensively, they're still a little bit fragile. Both these sides had Carabao Cup games and both had Carabao Cup defeats. Watford, however, lost to Newport County of League 2, whilst Luton did lose out to Premier League Manchester United, so I think Luton could take a little bit more pride than that. Watford have not conceded a goal so far in the Championship, so I think it'll be tight, especially with the 5 at the back formation. I think Luton will definitely struggle to try and break that down. For me, most of these derbies could be very anticlimactic, could be a 0-0 draw, but I actually see goals in this game. I think Luton will definitely gun forward, but I don't think Watford will allow it. I'm going to say 2-2. I think it's going to be a really, really exciting game. Before we move on, let's see what FIFA 20 predicts will happen in this game.
The second game we have is a fiery local derby between Watford and Luton Town. Harry Cornick with the ball. What a free ball to Mpanzu now, who can score. Good save. Another great save from Ben Foster to deny Luton getting the opener. Here's Ryan Tunnicliffe with a bit of space. He can shoot there. Tunnicliffe, great save once again by Ben Foster. Here's Tunnicliffe charging forward. Great through ball to Izzy Brown. Back to Tunnicliffe. Tunnicliffe is well blocked. He tries to get to Mpanzu. Mpanzu! Great save by Foster. Foster are keeping Watford in this game. Final minute of the game now. Very dull second half. Luton by far controlled the first half and with a better team. It's the full-time whistle. According to FIFA 20, this game will end Watford 0, Luton Town 0.
So FIFA 20 predicts the exact opposite. A 0-0 draw, which actually was going to be my original prediction, but I thought this is going to have some goals in, I hope, and I pray anyway. So the next game is Wycombe going up against Swansea, and you feel with Wycombe, if they do not get some points at home very, very soon, that this is going to be a very, very long season. They had a really bad defeat against Blackburn Rovers, a 5-0 drumming. Adam Armstrong scoring a hat-trick, and honestly, he could have scored more, if I'm going to be honest. Swansea right now have been okay. You know, defensively, they actually looked all right. It's actually going forward, which I'm still yet to be convinced. They've only scored 1 goal in their opening 2 games. Of course, their latest game was a 0-0 draw with Birmingham. Although with the chances they had, I think they should have won the game. But Neil Etheridge had a great performance in Birmingham's goal. I think Wycombe will stick with the forward at back, go with Jacobson, maybe Tafazoli and Stewart maybe as defensive partnership, because of course Charles did pick up that red card in the last game. And with Swansea, I think it'll be 3 or /5 at the back. I think Gouet, Cabango and Rondon are proving to be a real good unit right now. Overall, with this prediction, I'm just not confident in Wycombe yet. They've not shown me enough that they're going to pick up points at home. I'm going to say 2-0 away victory to Swansea, but I hope for Wycombe fans' sake that I'm proven wrong, because I want Wycombe to compete in the Championship, and this could be the game to do it. But before we move on, let's see what FIFA 20 predicts will happen in this game.
Our third game is another early Saturday game. Wycombe going up against Swansea City. Onyedima doing incredibly well here. Onyedima, look at this. Onyedima with a shot. Oh, come off the post. Very unlucky. Great individual work by Onyedima. Final minute of the game. Very boring game from practically the 90 minutes apart from that Wycombe chance that hit the post, and that is full time. According to FIFA 20, this game will end Wycombe 0, Swansea 0.
Another 0-0 draw for FIFA. I hope this is not going to be a trend following from last week where we had 4 0-0 draws in a row. The first of the 3 o'clocks we're going to go over is Barnsley going up against Coventry. Now, Coventry have not had Carabao Cup action, so they may not be fatigued. Barnsley, however, had a 6-0 drumming against my team Chelsea, and if I can analyse the game overall, Barnsley, with the first half performance, you actually looked pretty good in terms of the high pressing, which is what I expected, but a load of defensive mistakes led to too many goals being shipped in. I say a good 4 of the goals that Chelsea did score were from defensive mistakes, and Gerard Struber would definitely want those to be drummed up if you're going to be facing sides like Coventry, who do high press as well. I'm having a feeling he's not going to change the defence too much. I think he'll keep the likes of Solbauer and Williams in the back 4. And in terms of going forward, I think Freesia is not going to get a start. For me, I think Woodrow and Chaplin have to start together if Barnsley want to have any chance. They've not scored any goals in the Championship so far, so they definitely need them. As with Coventry, they'll feel lifted, getting their first win of the season against Queen's Park Rangers. Away from home, they looked alright against Bristol City previously, but they gave away 2 very cheap goals and they cannot afford it. They need to stay switched on, and Coventry can definitely win this game. As a prediction, I'm still waiting to see if Barnsley are going to perform. I either think it's going to be 1-0 Barnsley, or I think Coventry are going to have a run-in. And for me, I think Coventry, with an extra fresh squad, I think will have a run-in. I'm going to say 3-1 Coventry. Maybe wrong on this, but for me, I think Coventry will be extra fired up for this one. And before I move on, let's see what FIFA 20 predicts will happen.
For our fourth game, we start off with a 3 o'clock. So we start off with Barnsley going up against Coventry. Here's Walsh, back to Allen. Great play. Here's Walsh now with a free shot, and he scores it. Liam Walsh, who we know very well from the Bristol City Road to Glory, has just scored for Coventry. Coventry are 1-0 up. Here's Walsh once again, great pass, and Matt Godden gets to his pass, and Coventry are 2-0 up. Out of nothing, Coventry get their 2 goals from not being in this game at all. Great pass, and once again, Liam Walsh is involved. Barnsley 0, Coventry City 2. Oh, Connor Chaplin has just been put through on goal. A brilliant through ball. Connor Chaplin, great save by Marossi. Barnsley have their first big chance, and it's saved by Marossi in Coventry's goal. Into the final minute of this game, the best game I've seen so far. Bit of a dead second half, although Barnsley have competed a bit more. It is the full-time whistle, and it's Coventry. Their only 2 shots on goal are their 2 goals. According to FIFA 20, this game will end Barnsley 0, Coventry City 2.
So FIFA 20 predicts that Coventry will also win by 2-0. So that's very interesting with FIFA. The next game to go over is Birmingham going up against Rotherham. Both sides should be very, very refreshing since they've got knocked out in their cup competitions. With 2 sides overall, I mean, Birmingham right now, they look really good defensively. They're in the top 6 following that they have not lost a championship game yet. I think under Isaac Karanka, I think Birmingham are going to completely thrive under him at the moment. As with Rotherham, they've been alright. They've been what I've expected. Some weeks can be on it and some weeks just not the same intensity. And that was against Millwall. They should have taken the game to Millwall, where I think they did at times, but a really bad defensive mistake really cost them, and they need to learn that those small boundaries make the difference between League One and the Championship. For one thing I do fear about Birmingham is their lack of goals. They have recently got Scott Hogan back though, so I'll be interested to see how Ida Karanka implements him into the squad. He could potentially stop up front with Jukovic, but if Karanka wants to stick to his system, he may keep Jukovic up front and maybe have Torral as a false 9 or central attacking midfielder with Sanchez on the right and Jeremy Bell on the left. As a score, this is really tight. I think there will be goals, and I think 1 goal is going to settle the differences. I'm going to say a 2-1 home victory to Birmingham. I have a little bit more confidence in them since they are at home. But before we move on, let's see what FIFA 20 predicts will happen.
The 5th game we've got to go through is Birmingham City going up against Rotherham United, the Wes Harding derby. Here's Olsoon, back to Vassell, great pass. Smith, it's a goal, and it's Rotherham who have taken the lead with their first shot on goal. Unbelievable scenes I'm seeing here. Birmingham 0, Rotherham 1. What a great pass that is. Hogan off the post. Oh, I think it's gone in off the crossbar. Just over the line, and Birmingham have got their equaliser. The most bizarre goal I think we will see in all of FIFA 20 simulation this weekend. But it's Jukovic who has scored the goal from the crossbar. Caught only just though. Very, very tight that was. Lucas Jukovic draws things level. Back to Lindsay now. He's got a bit of room. Yes, he's got time. Vassell! It's an 89th minute goal from Rotherham United, and they deserve it. They've been the better team. Unbelievable. What a game this has been. This has been right up there with Coventry City's away win against Barnsley. It looks like the full-time whistle is going to go, unless Birmingham can get something. No, it's the full-time whistle. According to FIFA 20, this game will finish Birmingham 1, Rotherham United 2.
So FIFA 20 predicts the exact opposite as per usual, with a 2-1 away victory to Rotherham. Honestly, I can realistically see both of these results happening, but for me, I just slightly edge Birmingham being the home side. The next game to go over is Cardiff versus Reading. Of course, with Cardiff, they got their first win of the season against Nottingham Forest, a fantastic performance away from home. However, their previous home performance was absolutely disappointing against Sheffield Wednesday. With Reading, they are one of the 3 sides still with a 100% start. 4 goals scored, 0 conceded. I mean, Reading are having the form of their lives at the moment, and following this, they are first place in the Championship. And I think this is going to be the ultimate test. What sets these 2 sides apart is how they attack. I think Neil Harris will stick with the 4-3-3 and have a 3 of potentially Hoylett, Kiefer Moore, and maybe Josh Murphy. And with Reading, it's a little bit more unpredictable, but I think Panovic will go with a 4-2-3-1, potentially having Lucas Jow up front, because the form he's on at the moment, I think he could just go on his own and he can already score a bag load of goals. There's so many options with this Reading squad right now, which I'm really, really liking. The 2 previous meetings in the Championship have been 1-1 draws. And to be honest, with the squads, I think this will be the exact repeat. I'm thinking this is going to be a 1-1 draw, the third consecutive 1-1 draw in the Championship, by the way. I'm not counting the FA Cup where they had a 3-3 draw. But before we move on, let's see what FIFA 20 predicts will happen in this game.
Welcome to the halfway stage of predicting the Championship games. We've now got Cardiff going up against Reading. Whoa, great pass that is. Masika, and it forces a great save under Alex Smithies. All of a sudden, we've got some really good play. We're in the final minute of this game. Very flat game overall. Reading had the only good chance of the game, and that is a full-time whistle, and thank God this game is over. According to FIFA 20, this game will end Cardiff 0, Reading 0.
Another 0-0 draw according to FIFA. I can definitely see a draw, but for me, I think there'll be goals. I hope it's not 0-0. So next up, we've got Derby going up against Blackburn. Two sides with very contrasting results in the weekend. Derby had a really bad loss against Luton Town, where they definitely should have got something with the performance they had, especially in the second half. Blackburn completely blew Wycombe away, 5-0. They're the top goal scorers in the Championship right now with 7 goals in 2 games. Going forward, Blackburn look absolutely brilliant. However, I am still considering their first game of the season when they narrowly lost 3-2 against Bournemouth. Defensively, I do think that Blackburn still have some grey areas. Although the recent signing Daniel Ayala maybe could change a few things. He's a very experienced Championship defender. With Derby, I feel like they need to improve. And I feel like maybe we need to see a little bit more Jack Marriott. He did get the 1 goal for Derby. And I'm happy for him that he's now gained his chance to step up. Josriak, I think, will need to start. He looks very, very good. Derby have got such a young quality squad, but they're just not having anything clicking for them at the moment. I think once one game clicks, I think they can definitely push on for the season. As a prediction, I'm seeing goals in this game. But who am I going to edge is the question. I'm going to say a crazy 3-2 away victory to Blackburn. I think Blackburn have the goals within them to handle this, and Blackburn also have a very strong record against Derby. 4 wins in their last 6 meetings. It should be a good game, hopefully. But let's see what FIFA 20 predicts will happen.
The 7th game to go over is Derby going up against Blackburn Rovers. It's Travis. Downing off the post. The first real shot we've had on goal, and it's Stuart Downing. What a really close opportunity for Blackburn. We're in the final minute of this game. Despite no goals, both teams have improved in the second half. The first half was absolutely dire. There's the full-time whistle. According to FIFA 20, this game will end Derby 0, Blackburn Rovers 0, with only 1 shot in the entire 90 minutes.
You knew this was coming. FIFA was going to predict a 0-0 draw and completely disagree with me. Well, let's see who's right there. Now we've got a London derby, Millwall versus Brentford. Both sides with contrasting fortunes in the Carabao Cup. Millwall, of course, got knocked out by 2-0 against Burnley. I actually thought that there was not going to be many goals in this game at all, but I did edge Burnley to be the team to go through, and I was right on that. Brentford's game, though, they had a terrific victory against West Brom. It was hard fought. It was a 2-2 draw, 3 of the 4 goals being from penalties, so they were naturally equipped to take penalties, although the one single goal, which was from Emiliano Marcondes, I think, that bicycle kick from the crossbar and in. I mean, David Button didn't have a chance to save that. That was an unbelievable goal. How I think this side will approach it, I think Gary Rowett's going to continue using the 3/5 at the back. I think the likes of Pearce, Hutchinson, Cooper, I think will be at the back. Of course, you've got Malone and potentially Romeo on the right-hand side, although you could have Murray Wallace there as well. With Brentford, I think they'll still stick with the 4 at the back. Going forward is what's interesting. I think both of these sides will have a striker and 2 wingers. For me, I'm just going to edge Brentford right now. I think despite Millwall not losing a championship game yet, I think Brentford will prove to be too tough of a test. Brentford have got a stronger record against Millwall as well. I'm going to say 2-1 away victory to Brentford. Be very, very close though. But let's see what FIFA 20 thinks.
For our 8th game, we've got a London derby between Millwall and Brentford. Here's Mbeumo with the cross. Hutchinson gets it. Watkins! It's a goal! Very poor defending on Millwall's point of view, but Watkins pounces on a very poor clearance by Sean Hutchinson. 1-0 Brentford. Jed Wallace to Smith now. Malumbai could get there. It's an immediate response from Millwall, who get an equaliser with their first shot on goal. 1-0. Norgard. Josh De Silva. Watkins. Off the crossbar. Wow. Right at the tip of the post and the crossbar. Very close for Watkins to get Brentford the lead again. Benrahma, great pass. Watkins, great save by Bartosz Białkowski. Benrahma again, and there's a goal. All of a sudden, Brentford have now really been fired up for this game. Watkins, after hitting the crossbar just a few moments ago, Benrahma finishes it off from a great save from Białkowski. We're into the final minute of this game right now. Great game, the best game I've watched so far in FIFA 20 simulation. Both teams look very dangerous when they have the ball, and that is the final attack. The final whistle goes, and it's Brentford who have won the London derby. According to FIFA 20, this game will end Millwall 1, Brentford 2.
I don't believe it. I'm agreeing with FIFA 20, 2-1. I mean, you're not going to see that often. The next game we have is Preston against Stoke. Another situation with two sides with contrasting fortunes in the Carabao Cup. Preston, of course, got knocked out by Premier League Brighton. They did have the chances, but Brighton just had a very strong squad. Even their second squad managed to deal with Preston pretty comfortably. Stoke managed to narrowly get past Gillingham by 1-0. For me, Stoke are still warming up. They've not completely clicked for me yet. As with this game, I think if any of them wins this game, I think it can really kickstart their season. Of course, both these sides have 1 point, but they're still looking for their first win. And a first win for either one of these sides, I think, will be huge for their season. As with this game overall, I'm really struggling with this one. Although Stoke have a very rotten record against Preston. They've not beaten them since 2008. So Preston have got a very strong record against Stoke. But I'm still not confident with Preston clicking straight away. And I think Stoke will make it difficult for them to break down. I'm not saying Stoke is going to win, but I think it'll be a 1-1 draw. I think it'll be very frustrating for Preston. I can easily see it happen. But before we move on, let's see what FIFA 20 predicts will happen.
So the next game to go over is Preston North End going up against Stoke City. Johnson finds Barkusen. Great pass from him. Barkusen could definitely do something. Maguire is a goal. Preston have taken the lead 11 minutes in, and it's Sean Maguire. Great pass from Johnson, and Barkusen with a lovely assist. 1-0 Preston North End. I have to apologise, the scorer was not Maguire, it was Alan Brown. But either way, it was a great goal. McLean with a gorgeous through ball to find Nick Powell here. He's got to beat Davies. It's well defended. Tyrese Campbell is a goal! Just like that, Stoke are level. It was a very poor bit of play from Preston, losing out on the ball like that, but Stoke have punished Preston for being too kneeling on the ball, and it's Tyrese Campbell with a goal. 1-1. We're into the final minute of this game. I say Preston have been a better side. Due to time restraints, I can't show it, but they had a goal disallowed because Sean Maguire was offside in the build-up, which is a real shame. The full-time whistle goes. Both teams have got a goal, and they've both got a point each. According to FIFA 20, this game will end Preston 1, Stoke City 1.
Another score I'm agreeing with FIFA 20. What is this? I've been a complete hypocrite of not agreeing and then agreeing. Well, we'll see if both of us are right. Final Saturday game is Queen's Park Rangers going up against Middlesbrough. Of course, Grant Hall returning to the club. He has been there for over 5 years. Of course, working with the previous manager that was there at Queen's Park Rangers as well. I think Neil Warner may have recovered by the time. Of course, he did sit out the whole of this week and last weekend due to getting a positive COVID-19 test. I think he will be back. I've not read too much into it, if I'm going to be honest, so I'm still not too sure if he'll be back. With Queen's Park Rangers, though, what I do know, they had a very poor defeat against Coventry last time, where they looked so good in the first half, but they gave away like completely silly goals to crosses and just lackluster defending, like static defending, if I'm going to be honest. But if they drill that down and Queen's Park Rangers can actually defend as a unit, Queen's Park Rangers are a very difficult side to play against. Although Middlesbrough have a really tough defence. You know, it's not easy to break this Middlesbrough side down. I'm a bit disappointed for them they've not kept a clean sheet, but if Neil Warnock is back, I think he'll be demanding a clean sheet because he loves his clean sheets. With this game overall, I think they'll play a different formation. I think Queen's Park Rangers will continue to forward at the back. Middlesbrough will have 3/5 at the back. And up forward, I think Middlesbrough will have the likes of Fletcher and Assombalonga complementing each other, which I think is good. But with this game overall, I actually don't see many goals in this game. I think Middlesbrough will make it very tight in the back, really preventing Queen's Park Rangers to score. I can see Queen's Park Rangers having so much of the ball and having so many chances, but Middlesbrough breaking them down through a counter-attack, the likes of Ashley Fletcher or Assombalonga scoring it, and that will be the difference. I'm going to say a 1-0 away victory to Middlesbrough. It's just one of those weird results I'm predicting because Middlesbrough are capable of it and they have got a better record against Queen's Park Rangers than they do against them. So I'll say 1-0 to Middlesbrough. And let's see what FIFA 20 predicts will happen in this game.
The final Saturday game to go over is Queen's Park Rangers going up against Middlesbrough. It's Eberechi Eze now. Eze! Great save by Ainsley Pears to deny Queen's Park Rangers scoring. Oh, a mistake. Clayton wins it back just before half-time. Fletcher! Off the post! Wow! Queen's Park Rangers get away with it to the final minute of this game. I was hoping to get the hat-trick of good games, having 2 really good games before this, but I guess you can't have everything. This has been a really bad game. Apart from Ashley Fletcher's chance, no side has gone close unless Eze can do something here. Eze's done very well. Looks like he may lose out though to Clayton. Clayton won the battle. It is the full-time whistle. Oh, it's not yet. There's a free kick. Wow, okay. Ryan Manning can hit those. Manning! All over the net of the goal. According to FIFA 20, this game will end Queen's Park Rangers 0, Middlesbrough 0.
Shocker, I'm not agreeing with FIFA, but it's pretty close. A 0-0 draw is pretty close, and I could definitely see that happening as well. So now we go to Sunday's games. We've got Bournemouth going up against Norwich. Now, in the Premier League, this game last year was boring to say the least. It was a 0-0 draw and both these sides' first clean sheet in the Premier League season. I hope now they're down in the Championship, both of them will go with a low-lose attitude and completely go for it. And I could definitely see that happening. With Bournemouth, of course, they may feel a bit more fatigued. They did play against Manchester City in the Carabao Cup. They'll be a bit disappointed they didn't go through because they equalised very quickly through Sam Surridge despite going behind to Liam Delap, which I almost said Rory Delap for a minute there. Bournemouth should definitely feel proud of themselves how they did manage to scare Manchester City. They needed the big boys to try and seal the game for them. Both these sides, I feel like, are still waiting to see from their best. But it could be a game like this where we can start to see the signs of things clicking for them. With Norwich, I just fear that they had so many transfers and they need a load of them to gel very quickly. Bournemouth not made too many transfers. A lot of them are the homegrown players they had from last season, but introducing some new players in, like Danjuma, who scored that stunner against Blackburn 2 weeks back. With this game overall, I'm really struggling to predict a winner here. So in fact, I'll predict a draw. I was thinking 2-2, but I think 1-1. I think 1-1's going to be a realistic one because I think at the same time, they're not going to want to lose this game. I could even see this being 0-0, but I really hope that's not the case. I think they will definitely go for it now they're down to the Championship. Before we move on, let's see what FIFA 20 predicts will happen in this game.
So for our penultimate game, we go to the first Sunday game. 2 recently relegated Premier League sides going up against each other, Bournemouth and Norwich. It's McLean, Buendia to Pukki. He's got some space for Timo Pukki to Duda. It's a goal. Norwich have taken a very early lead in this game. It's what they deserve. Bournemouth have been all over the place defensively. Norwich take the lead. 1-0 Norwich. It's Callum Wilson. Billing to Harry Wilson. You can hit that. Oh, what an unbelievable goal. Just before the halftime whistle, Bournemouth have now equalised. We're into the final minute of this game. And the second half was not as great as the first half was. Bournemouth can try and get something right now. Okay, there's Fraser. Fraser, no, it's well defended by Hanley, and it is the full-time whistle. According to FIFA 20, this highly anticipated game will end Bournemouth 1, Norwich 1.
Another game I'm agreeing with FIFA. I mean, FIFA did get more correct scores for me last week, so maybe that's a good tactic on my part. The final game to go over is Bristol City versus Sheffield Wednesday. Now, Bristol City have a very rotten record against Sheffield Wednesday. This could be their toughest game because Sheffield Wednesday have really been enjoying playing against Bristol City all these years. And I feel like this game is going to be even more important for Sheffield Wednesday since they're still -8. They are appealing their 12-point deduction, but of course, that is not guaranteed that they'll win that appeal. So they'll definitely be wanting to repeat history and beat Bristol City. But Bristol City are one of the 3 sides left that have got a 100% star. There seems to be a feel-good factor in Bristol City at the moment, which I'm really liking. And I think it's going to help with the players. They did have a poor defeat against Aston Villa though. 3-0 it ended. With this game overall, it's going to be really tight. I could definitely see Bristol City maybe having more of the ball, but having more chances at least. But I think Sheffield Wednesday would definitely go with the intent of not losing this game. They need all the points that they can get right now, so they'll do absolutely anything. For me, I think this game will be highly anticipated, but I think it'll be a 0-0 draw. I don't know why. I think Bristol City may be a bit wasteful in their opportunities. I think Sheffield Wednesday could have a couple of chances, but I think Bristol City will ensure that they do not lose this game. So I'll say 0-0. I hope it doesn't happen though. And before we move on, let's see what FIFA 20 predicts will happen.
And the final game to predict this weekend is Bristol City going up against Sheffield Wednesday. is a goal, and Famara has already scored for Bristol City 3 minutes in. Great play. Very poor goalkeeping by Dawson, don't get me wrong, but it's a terrific goal by Famara through the arms of Dawson. You should be doing better than that. 3 minutes gone. Bristol City are 1-0 up. Jeju to O'Dowda, and O'Dowda again. O'Dowda to Jeju. He threw the legs of Cameron Dawson. It's a second goal for Bristol City and a second goal for Famara Jeju, but another second mistake from Cameron Dawson, who should have closed his legs. Very poor from him, but Bristol City are well valued for their 2-0 lead. We're into the final minute of this game. Bristol City really deserve this win. They scored a very quick first goal, which literally took me by surprise. Didn't really expect it. Sheffield Wednesday been very, very poor. Have not created anything. Looks like they won't create anything in their final attack of the game. Fox tries to cross it. Baker defends, and that is the full-time whistle. According to FIFA 20, the final game of the Championship weekend, week 3, will end Bristol City 2, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
Well, that was embarrassing. The first goal completely caught me off guard, but it was a 2-0 victory, and I could definitely see Bristol City gain that. If they get a 2-0 victory against Sheffield Wednesday, I have to say, Bristol City will be flying high with confidence right now, and that will be really great to see. So that is all the Championship predictions. Do you agree with me? Let me know in the comments down below. Of course, all of this weekend's games are in the description down below, including the Premier League games, which I'll predict in a minute. And if you get one correct score, your comment will be included, and you will get a shout out. But without any further ado, let's predict the Premier League fixtures now. We'll start off with Brighton and Man United. I'm going to say 3-2 Man United, but Brighton are capable of an upset. I have beaten Man United at the Amex before. Palace and Everton. Oh, in terms of my fantasy league team says, I hope Everton win. I think they will. But I think this will be a really tough test for Palace, who have won 2 games out of 2 at the moment. I'm going to say 3-1 Everton. West Brom Chelsea. I see goals in this game. Chelsea not completely drilled defensively yet, but West Brom shipping a load of goals. I'm going to say 4-2 Chelsea. Burnley Southampton. This is the toughest game. I've predicted Southampton to win, and I've also predicted Burnley to win at some different stage. I'm going to edge Burnley with them being at home. I'm going to say a 2-1 victory. I could definitely see that happening. Sheffield United in the lead. Oh, I'm so excited to see a Yorkshire derby in the Premier League. I'm going to say 2-2. I think both these sides will play out a really entertaining game, I hope. Spurs and Newcastle. Oh, another team I really want to do well because of my fantasy team. I'm going to say 2-0 Spurs. Manchester City, Leicester. Oh, that's tough. I'm going to say 2-1 City. I think they'll have enough despite playing in the Carabao Cup. Of course, Leicester actually lost out to Arsenal as well, so they will both be equally fatigued. And West Ham and Wolves. I'm going to say 2-0 Wolves. I think Wolves will have more quality to deal with West Ham. Of course, with Monday's games, of course, we do have Fulham and Aston Villa, but I'm going to predict them in my Championship review. So that is when I'll predict those games. But that's all the Premier League fixtures. Now, before we move on, let's reveal who won last week. And I'm sorry to blow my own trumpet, but I actually won the game week points last week. I've moved all the way up to 3rd. Daniel Cosby, you're still 1st place. But if you look at the top 3, very little separates between me, 2nd and 1st right now. So it's going to be an interesting competition. And this, of course, was the team I went for. The only regret I have, look at my bench. Why on earth did I not use bench booster at the start? I could have never predicted that Emi Martinez was going to save a penalty as well. I'm such an idiot. But here's the team I'm going with this week. Quite a few changes, quite a few transfers, a little bit, especially with the attacking line as well. Not as much Everton players, a couple of Spurs players, and a few Chelsea players included in there as well. Hopefully, that'll get me more points, and I actually think I can really compete this year. You know, I've not taken Fantasy Premier League as seriously now I'm in my own league. I'm feeling more pressure to try and perform here. So, we'll see what happens with this weekend. But that wraps it up for today's video. If you guys like what you want to see more content, please do give this video a like. It is tremendously appreciated. If you have done, please subscribe to the channel. It would really make my day. We're on 283. Let's push for 300 before October. I believe in you guys. I think you guys can do it. And please share the channel to as many people as you can, because if I get to 1,000 subscribers, I can do a collaboration with BenHD, the man himself. So if you guys want to see that, please ensure that you share and tell everyone you know to subscribe, and we'll get there as soon as we can. But that wraps it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary if you saw the end of this video. And as always, take care, guys.